Sons and daughters, barricaded blacks and borders. Look what you taught us.
Hello, welcome. The topic that we're about to learn today is one that I've been interested in since I learned it in math class, and that's chapter 3.1 in the elementary statistics book. Let's start off with probability experiments. A probability experiment is any procedure that can be infinitely repeated. For example, a dice toss is a probability experiment. A coin flip is also a probability experiment. The result of a single trial in a probability experiment is called the outcome. Let's say there are two bands I want to see. Heads, I go and see the Arctic Monkeys, or tails, I go and see the Nationals. So we flip a coin, and the coin lands on heads. We go to see the Arctic Monkeys.
Dancing in my underpants, I'm gonna run for government. I'm gonna form a covers band and all.
Going to see the Arctic Monkeys is called our outcome. The set of all possible outcomes is the sample space. And the subset of all sample spaces, and may consist of one or more outcomes, is an event. When identifying a sample space, a tree diagram gives you a visual display of the outcomes. Let's say you're tossing a coin and then rolling a six-sided die. Let's determine the sample space and the number of outcomes. This tree diagram shows that if you rolled one die and then flipped a coin, you'll have 12 possible outcomes. But don't worry, because there's an easier way to do this math. The easier way is called the fundamental counting principle. The fundamental counting principle says one event can occur in m ways and a second event can occur in n ways. The number of ways these two events can occur in sequence is m times n. Let's say you have 3 shirts and 2 bottoms. 3 times 2 equals 6. So according to the fundamental counting principle, there are 6 different outfits you can make. In the basic concepts of probability and counting, there are 3 types of probabilities. One is classical probability, empirical probability, and subjective probability. Classical probability, also known as theoretical probability, is used when each outcome is equally likely to occur. For example, say you're rolling a 6-headed die. What is the probability of rolling a 3? According to classical probability, the probability of rolling a 3 is 1 out of 6, since 3 is the outcome and there are 6 faces on the dice. Empirical probability, or statistical, is based on observations obtained from probability experiments. The empirical probability of an event E is the relative frequency of event E. Let's say a company is conducting a telephone survey of randomly selected individuals to get their overall impressions of the past decades. So far, 1,504 people have been surveyed. Take a look at the frequency distribution table. What is the probability that the next person surveyed has a positive overall impression of the 2000s? Since there are 406 positive impressions, and there are 1,504 people in all, we will divide 406 by 1,504 and get 0.270. Subjective probability is when you use your opinion to find probabilities. For example, you say there's an 80% chance your friend can't come to the beach because her car broke down yesterday, so she might need to be picked up. According to law of large numbers. As an experiment is repeated over and over, the empirical probability of an event approaches the theoretical actual probability of the event. In the basic concepts of probability and counting, the range of probability rule is the probability of an event E is between 0 and 1 inclusive, which means that if the probability of an event is 1, the event is likely to happen. The complement of event E is the set of all outcomes not included in event E. For instance, if you roll a die and let E be the event, the number is at least 5. Then the complement of E is the event, the number is less than 5.
Whoa, it's me, and I'm wearing new clothes. What was the probability of me changing clothes? Okay, if I'm being honest, it's been 2 days. So the probability of me changing clothes is definitely 100%. And we're at the end of this video, and I hope you learned something. Okay, bye.